I'm Corey Davis, your host, and I'm thrilled to take you on this journey as we dive into inspiring stories, expert insights, and practical tips to help you thrive as a digital nomad. Welcome back to the Jet Set Journeys podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. So today we have Ivy Manilag with the Creative Nomad PH. And that's her brand. She's going to tell us where she came from, where she's at now, and where she's headed. Welcome, Ivy, to the show. Appreciate you showing up.
Hi, Corey. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm very keen on joining you and just sharing my story out there. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us, what's the Creative Nomad PH? What's that about?
Well, the Creative Nomad PH is a community I built out of my passion for traveling, solo traveling to be exact, and my passion for digital creative industry. So I've been in the industry as a digital marketer freelancer for more than 4 years. And in between, I started traveling Asia as a solo traveler, and then I realized that what if there's gonna be more people that can do the same thing as what I am doing and to see more of the world, right? So that's why I built that community, and it kind of aims and empowers to individuals to harness their creativity and digital skills and build really a vibrant community of dreamers and doers.
Oh, nice. That sounds amazing. So you personally, where have you traveled to?
Well, I've been to most of the Southeast Asian countries, actually, because I do have a weak passport. That's one thing to note. So it kind of, hinders you. Even if you have the money, it kind of hinders you to travel other areas, right?
I'm sorry, you said a weak passport?
Weakest passport. One of the weakest passport.
What does that mean? I never heard that before.
Really? So if you haven't heard about one of the powerful passport is Japan. The next is Singapore, I think, and the rest I don't know. But one thing I know is Philippine passport. You have to get visa applications, and it's kind of really hassle to process that. So I know those countries who have the same passport as mine will kind of relate to what we struggle a lot as a traveler. So
okay. I got you. I thought you meant week, like as in 7 days. You can only go for 7 days.
No, not really. We can actually have more access to Southeast Asian countries. We can stay for 30 days like that and then move to another country or exit. But the thing about other regions like the US, Western European countries, and Central Asia, we kind of have to put more effort to visit a country.
You got to get your visa. I mean, it's nice because we can do 30 days free or 28 days sometimes, but then you got to do your visa, which is fine. Cool. So first, where are you from originally? Where did you come up?
I am from the Philippines, where I know that it's a place where a lot of people wanted to visit. It's a lot of islands, 7,000 plus islands, and I lived here ever since. And then I realized that there's so much more to see outside the country. So
Okay, so now you have the Creative Nomad. Are you traveling with that company, your brand, sharing it with, who's your audience? Is it people from the Philippines or Southeast Asia or?
You know what? It's amazing because I honestly can tell that today that my audiences are now outside the country. It originally started because I do have this amazing community I've built for many years. Now I have the audience such as Indonesian. I do have audience in Africa like that. So more of the Southeast Asian region still as a majority. But that's how amazing social media is, and it continues to let us have more access to different areas we couldn't imagine.
Gotcha. Okay, so and then where do you plan on going with this company?
Well, my dream is to really roam around Asia as a whole, since it's the largest continent, right? So my next is to actually travel to Central Asia, and then went straight to Europe, probably next year. So again, we're talking about visa earlier, so I must have, be prepared on that one.
Yes. Okay. That's good. Well, that is awesome. So the Creative Nomad, you've been doing this for 4+ years. So what inspired you to do this? Maybe before you even got into the brand, what inspired you to do the traveling and everything?
Well, the thing about the Creative Nomad is that it was built out of my creativity as a person. So, you know what? I'm not just only creative digitally. I also am creative, like physically. Like everything that I do revolves around creativity. So, I have started pursuing music as a creative art of my life.
Right.
It's been a driving force of how I'm able to think. Now I am able to write songs. I have a Spotify artist account, if you can listen in, and that vision continues to grow. Actually, the thing about me is that my original goal in life was to be a singer.
Really?
Yeah, when everyone else was asking, what do you want to do in life? About career talk, right?
Right.
And I was like, the only person in the room that has a different trajectory of what you wanted to do, right? Everyone else was engineer, they want to be accountant or business, But that was totally a different course of action that I was thinking. But so that's why I'm really into music. I love singing different language. I don't know about myself, but it makes me much more easier to navigate the language and to really understand the culture of the places I visit. So yeah.
Okay.
Right. And then I also am passionate with crafts, the designs, the different crafts that you do for events like that. So it's all started on that aspect. And then when Canva was born, or these tools that we have today, I realized that I can do more. Anything is possible today, right? So
Right.
with the resources that we have. And so I really harness my skills. I watch a lot of tutorials, joined paid mentorship just to be really expert or kind of be better with what I do. So and that experiences allowed me to understand and really discover that this is what I wanted to do in life. I really wanted to share my story and tell the world that creativity, because a lot of people has a misconception about creative arts or creative pursuits, that there's no money in it, right?
Yeah.
That's the typical norm.
It's the struggle, the artist struggle.
Yeah, especially with music. It's hard to make money with music. And here in the Philippines, the competition with singing, with music is such, a pain, right? You cannot excel, you can't get really discovered if you don't have a high pitch, high tone, and all that. And that dream of mine was long dead until we have the tools today that we can release song, compose song, and TikTok, one video, you get viral, right? So that made me see that I don't really need a recording company, an agency, or whatever, as long as I have the creative ability to create my own music and take them to a journey with me. So now the aim of the Creative Nomad PH is to showcase to everyone who has the same experiences as mine or the same goal as mine, that you can really thrive in whatever creative industry you wanted to pursue. Like for example, you have passion for music, use it for as a force for good. I use a lot of things that I do as a force for good and to really establish connection and relationship, despite having the different culture, different areas of life that we can see as a hindrance to really make connections with people. So
wow.
yeah, that's really amazing how it has been so far.
That is awesome. I love that story. Yeah. So about the being creative and then the music that you have. So have you composed? You said you've composed already. It's already on Spotify. So I'll definitely get that link from you if you don't mind. We can share that with the audience. So
I'm still a startup anyway, so I have all the time in the world to make connections and really interact with audience.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. So I did see that you're also doing the solo travel.
Yeah.
So is that something that you talk about, you share your experience with people on, like, so what's your experience as far as solo traveling?
Well, yeah, solo traveling really changed me in so many ways. That's something, and it's an understatement to say that it just changed me. It really allowed me to grow in many aspects of my life, and that's something I also share with my community. Actually, I have interns. They all wanted to do solo traveling, whatever their ages are. They all wanted to be like me. Like I started fairly young, but looking back, I wish I had started way earlier than today.
Yeah.
But life happens, right? There's so many things to work on. Especially, it's not easy to travel to other countries on your own. Like as a female as well, I think it has a different struggle and it comes with different responsibility. So that's actually one of the things that I pride with the Creative Nomad PH, because everything that I share, it's solely based from my experience, and I do not gatekeep any information. Like you can go straight into my mind and see what I have experienced. So there were so many things I have experienced as a solo traveler, but I also had experience traveling with my friends and experiencing being with them, and those are really great experience because you also get to know how you can easily jive with other people, which is I encourage everyone to also experience, right? But the thing about solo traveling, it allowed me to just really discover what I can do, how capable I am of traversing different borders. Like for instance, I traveled to Vietnam, from Thailand to Vietnam, and then I went bus going to Cambodia on my own without cash and without SIM card. So I didn't know how I was able to survive that. But that's the thing about traveling. It allows you to have that fight or flight mode and really exercise the liberating experience that you can have on that different experience. And I can share towards our conversation what are the areas that I'm very very memorable for me, and something that I wouldn't do for sure or wouldn't recommend to fellow solo travelers.
Oh wow. So you traveled from Thailand to Vietnam and then you took a bus to Cambodia?
Yeah, that was actually a plan B. I was supposed to do a different course of action on that one.
Oh my goodness. And that was all by yourself?
I didn't.
I would do that.
I can't even believe you. And there's more story on that actually. You would really like, what? Did you do that?
So what was the story on that? Like seriously?
Well, yeah. So for Thailand, we're three girls from the Philippines. So those were my good friends. And then I decided that maybe I would do Indochina a trip. So 3 countries as a whole for that journey.
Yes.
So I allocated 2 weeks to complete that trip. And the thing about that trip is that after Thailand, all the 3 of us will part ways. So
that was part of the plan that you guys were going to split after Thailand?
Yeah, kind of, because we all have different lives already, right? So I was like, no one would go with what I wanted to do because they lack time and they have to do something else. So I was like, I don't want to miss this opportunity. What if, I will enjoy solo traveling, I'll discover more about myself. So I was just like, no, let's do it. Okay, let's do it. I have the ticket already. Everything is, I've done my research. So every time I travel, I'll always make it to a point that I research all the pros and cons, what to expect. I'm always like that. I come prepared. But of course, every time that you travel, anything can happen. So that's one thing to note.
Yeah.
So yeah, I landed in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh to be exact, because I've been to Vietnam twice on a different visit. But in Ho Chi Minh, I went from, maybe I stayed for a few days, and then I decided to book a bus going to Phnom Penh. So it's an 8 hours trip from Ho Chi Minh to Cambodia. And then all of the thing about that is that no one, actually maybe just 1% speak English. And I cannot grasp anymore the language barrier because again, I don't have internet. I forgot to purchase or maybe sign up for a plan on all of that. So I was praying to God that God, just let me get through this adventure and I'll share my story and wouldn't do this again. So that's the whole point of that. And then, well, thankfully, because of my research, the Americans who are with me on that bus were asking because they got our passport. So, and then the bus is already moving after the immigration checking, and it's moving already. Our passport isn't back to us. So we're like, oh no, our passport. What about our passport? We're already moving. And then, yeah, that was very scary because, what if? Right?
Yeah, what if they just took off and you guys don't have a passport because they forgot it?
I know, right?
Yeah, no
so
way.
Our passport is our, way to survive that whole trip. And then I remember I did my research. Your passport will be handed over to you even if the bus is running. Someone will motorcycle, bring all of your passports together and give it away before you finally reach Cambodian border. So that was to me like an ease. And then I relayed the information because they started asking me like, what about their passport? They're all panicking like, no worries. I was just assuring them that it's fine, someone will deliver a passport. And I was just also hoping that hopefully that information is right.
Right. Oh my goodness.
So
I would
I
have
was
freaked
like
out too.
accountable for their for their assurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, well that one is amazing. But here's the thing. It's not even the exciting part. So the next one was when I arrived to Cambodia finally after 8 hours. I do not have cash. I only have Vietnam dong. So obviously they won't accept that.
So
Right?
it's like millions and
have
it's
a
not
dollar.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even have a USD. I only have all of my money on my bank account. I only have Grab. But what I don't have is internet. I don't have. So I was cashless. I was basically poor. I was
Right.
basically homeless as well. So
So you didn't have a place to stay or anything planned
I
out?
do have that. I
Okay.
booked the place.
Gotcha.
But the thing is the language barrier, the lack of money in their currency, and then the internet are
Okay.
3 factors that made me think that am I on the right adventure? Because all these 3 things I usually prepare this, but on
Right.
this I don't have any of them. So not even a Google Translator, not even a free Wi-Fi. So I was left out. Okay. And then I was thinking, will I ever arrive to my place without this? And then you know what? Thankfully, when I arrived to the place where I'm gonna be staying, I finally have a free Wi-Fi. I asked for their help that, oh no, I don't have Wi-Fi. I can't even speak in Khmer because that's their language. And then I told them, can I borrow money? And then I do have Vietnam though. I mentioned you, right?
Yeah.
gave them the millions that I have, just an assurance that I'm gonna pay you. It's just that I don't have the cash. And then when I try to withdraw money, nothing is coming out. So how I'm gonna survive? So I really don't know. And then I decided, all right, after a night, after all of this, I'm gonna go back to Vietnam and then start from there and then go back to Thailand. So that's the whole point of that. It was such a 24-hour journey of just visioning, will I ever take another adventure after this?
Right.
So yeah, that was one of the memorable thing, because it's like I make it like a 30-minute journey from Vietnam to Cambodia, where in fact it's like 16 hours of amazing, incredible journey that changed my life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Great story. Thank you for sharing. So, would you do it again?
No. But Cambodia is more of like the Philippines. People were, Asian actually look like a lot. So that's one of a kind of adventure. And I think all of us should have something that we surely experience, but wouldn't really recommend to do something like that, because what if, like, there's so much what if on that journey, right?
Right. But you learned a lot. So that's the thing. It's like, it's called lessons learned. So
yeah, it's charged to experience for sure.
Yeah, and if anything, you can share it, like you just shared it with everybody here, and so they'll know what not to do. Make sure they have cash with them. Or
cash is the key.
I mean, it's hard to get cash from another country when you're in a different country, but yeah, it's just one of those things. But that's awesome.
Yeah, actually, all of my cards didn't work. I have a lot of cards. Not one of them worked. So that's the worst part, because what's the use of all these cards? You told us to bring extra cards, but not any of them was working. So
you would have never known until you went there and found out the hard way.
Yeah, so really cash is the key.
But you were brave and you made it, and you made it out alive. So that's good.
Yeah. And that was not even the last part of my journey. After that, I was so brave enough to go to other countries, like as if something didn't happen.
And that's the thing, when you do the traveling, especially by yourself, right? And you go through that struggle, it makes you stronger, right? And that strength is something that you can carry on to going anywhere else you want in the world. So like literally for me, like I'm from the US and I traveled over here to Asia by myself. And it's like, it was scary for me. Like, this is all the way around the world, right? I had no idea what to expect. Like, I laugh because I brought rain boots, like waterproof boots, because I'm thinking that I'm going to be walking around in the mud, right? I think that they had sidewalks here or anything. So I was like all prepared, and I get to Thailand and it's like sidewalks and streets and like a regular city. And I'm like, oh, like, I think I wore my rain boots like maybe 3 times, and I've been here like 3 years. So it all was for hiking, but it's just, you don't know, right? It's the unknown that's scary. But now that I came over here and I've been here for a while, it's like I can go anywhere. Like I have no problem. I literally bounce around like nothing, right? And so you made that trip with us, and it's like, even though you're like, I won't do it this way anymore, but you do have that strength to go anywhere, right? You can go to Central Asia or Europe, and it's like, yep, it's just another place, and be open to the adventure, right? So one thing that we all know about travel is that you have to be prepared for the unknown, which means you just have to be open-minded and expect that things aren't going to always go your way, and just be prepared to, I call it flow like water, right? Just as water is going down the mountain as a rock, it just goes around the rock, over the rock, under the rock. Wow. Just like it is what it is.
Yeah. That's a good reminder. Yeah.
I mean, there's times that I've been sitting like halfway through the trip, and I'm in like, where was I? I think I was in anywhere like India or something, right? Just waiting for my next flight, and then I get a message that on my phone that my flight was canceled. And I'm like, all right, so what do I do now? I could freak out, but I'm just like, I got a layover 6 hours, 8 hours. Just call the airlines and just figure it out, right? No stress. Yeah. Some people will be like, I'm stuck here. I don't know what to do. So
I know, yeah.
So that's good. So yeah, you're so much stronger now. So that's awesome. So right now, where's your next adventure? Where you plan on going next?
Well, the thing about solo traveling, since you're not into a group or something, like you can plan things in a month or two. So for now, I would say I do not have flights booked yet. I was supposed to go back in Indonesia to sing in an event. I was invited to sing in Lombok. If you've heard about Lombok.
Yep.
Yeah, been to both Jakarta and then Bali. I love the country and the amazing people in there. So I would, trade everything just to be there. So yeah, I was supposed to go back, but because I started a different venture again here in the Philippines. So and I have some local events to attend to. I couldn't think of any plans just yet, but I'm thinking traveling like Hong Kong in the coming months, and I'll probably go back to Malaysia to attend a wedding of my friend. That's one thing for the fourth time I'll be in Malaysia, and then next year it's gonna be in Central Asia, which I've mentioned earlier.
Yeah. So your music career sounds like it's kind of picking up a little bit, or what's going on there?
Which I'm not expecting. My content for Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, I've started really navigating the space. I'm getting used to it. Honestly, I've been really using social media a lot. I've been working with a lot of things on social media, but I never got used to like the attention. It's like I don't want all this attention. It's just like I just want to sing out there. But that's the thing about being there. You really have to get used to the attention, the people that are commenting about good and bad and all of that, and just kind of getting used to that space. So yeah, it's kicking in, and people are noticing my ability to produce music, to direct the band, because I'm more of like on that aspect. Actually, I play lots of instruments, but I'm just a disclaimer, I'm not bad at it. I'm not good at it. I just know the basic. That's the thing about what I teach at the Creative Nomad PH. Just know the basic and figure out your way into getting better on that. So yeah, I do play bass, guitar, piano. Then again, I play other basic instruments. So yeah.
Oh wow. All right. So your Creative Nomad is definitely more than just about travel. It is.
It is. I told you it's more than that.
Yeah. Thank you. That is awesome. Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing the space to share that story. Actually, if there's one thing that I would encourage younger version of people today is that we're very into following the norm, like the usual stuff that the society labels us to do, right? We're into being in this field, being on this, and just working 9 to 5 and all of that, and just grinding the whole time until we realize that wow, the world that we're supposed to see, we can no longer see it because of the responsibilities that we've got on our back, right? And if there's one thing I learned, there's no way to make all these paths easy, these responsibilities more easier and more bearable. But the first few times of traveling would be really hard. You need to give assurance that what you're doing will pay off, right? But I have discovered a lot of things during my trip that made me realize that I'm more blessed. I'm more, privileged with what I can experience, because not every one of us can afford to travel. Let's admit that we really have to cost or spend some money. Sometimes it can even charge us more. But the thing about traveling, it teaches me that these people are really connected. We're all connected in one way or another. And I learned that by staying with locals, eating their own food, cooking with them, and joining them on their usual daily life. Mm-hmm. So to me, there's so much to see out there. There's so much to learn, and there's so much to know from the different people that we encounter every day. But it's more, your story is more exciting to share when these experiences are outside your comfort zone, outside your country, for to be exact. Because within your country, you kind of know how all these things works, right? And then when I traveled to other country, I realized that wow, you are amazing, you're so brave. And I was just ungrateful for some of areas of my life. And when I get to see them, their situation is like meeting refugees, going to different countries because their country is not, a welcoming country for them anymore, or meeting people who are undergoing therapy because of the depressive situations in their life, made me just think that wow, so many people out there are experiencing this thing, and here I am traveling the world, just being excited of what the future holds. And that to me is a great reminder that there's so much to see, and I can't wait to really experience more and to learn more from these people that I'm yet to meet.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, so I totally agree with you, because as far as the cultures, because like you said, when you're at home, the people around you are more like you. And so when you travel to somewhere else, they're like, well, these is different people, different culture. But then as you get to know them, they're like, oh, we are like the same, right? It's like, you guys are the same. Like, you have family, you have daughters, you have sons that you love, you have mothers and fathers, right? And it's like, you do anything for your family, and it's like the bonding and the kinship. Like, so for me, like being in Thailand, and I go out with a restaurant with my friends, and I'm sitting there just eating with my new friends that are Thai, but then I'm looking around the restaurant and I see everybody else hanging out, and they're all laughing and joking and having a good time, right? Speaking Thai, of course, but I'm like, it feels like I'm just back home at any other place, and everyone's just enjoying their time. And I'm thinking in my head, like, yeah, like it's Saturday, they're all out having a good time. They got to go to work Monday, traffic. It's like, it's all the same, right? We all have this same struggle, the 9-to-5 grind. Like, they have that too, right? Some people, it's even worse. They have a 9-to-5 and they can't even afford bills, but they're just struggling paycheck to paycheck. But I'm like, but that's us too. Like, people think America's all golden and everyone's Hollywood rich. Like, no.
Oh, yeah.
There's plenty of times I struggled. Like, what am I going to do to feed my family, right? And it is what it is. So we all have the same. So I'm like, this is awesome. Like, and you have to step outside your comfort zone, like you said, and then it makes you stronger, and you realize you learn so much more about the world, which means you appreciate other parts of the world. And I think we should all do the same, right? It's like, there's so much struggle and so much animosity among different countries, and I wish we could just like close our minds and just be like, hey, you go into their world, understand where they came from, and then vice versa, right? And then we can appreciate each other more. So
and I also I definitely agree that this people has also different experiences and really stories that maybe at some point you're just hanging by a thread. There are some situations that you go out of the country just to look for more reason to keep going, right? And sometimes I do that. Being in your comfort zone like tells you that these are all the things that you should focus on, right? And then when you go out, wow, I didn't see this instances. But you know what I really like about traveling is the people that you, or the family that you get to build because of your presence in it. So one thing that I have experienced, because I thought a lot about on Indonesia. I got to mentor a lot of Indonesian mentees, where I share with them social media management, internet and market research, about remote work as a whole. And then every time I visit, like for example Malaysia, I've been to Malaysia 3 times. And every time I visit, everyone is like welcoming me and telling me, Ivy, let's go for a coffee. And, let's go to this place, treating me as if, they have known me for a long time. And we'd had conversation for a long time. But that's just one meetup, and then the rest is history. We've kind of built a friendship. And one thing I really like about is that in Malaysia, I had this student, and then she roamed me around in Kuala Lumpur and some of the areas that very exciting to visit. And then now she finally, after 11 years, she got pregnant and already have a child. And then that child, she's telling me that, oh, this is your niece. And then, it's even if it's not blood related, it's like, oh, you're the one, like that, calling me with that only blood related people could be called, right? It's wow, I've been able to transcend that, and build a family. So it's amazing. And also in Indonesia, I stayed in this not the biological mother of my mentee, now my friend, and then she considered me now as her child, the one who invited me to sing in Lombok. She is now considering me as her child. She told me before I leave, now you can always come back here and all that in Bali. So, and even when I went to the airport, she drive me for free. So it's like, wow, all these things I experienced because I shared my life, my story, and how genuine I am on building this connection and sharing that there's hope for humanity despite the differences that we have and the culture that kind of differentiate us from one another. And to them, I realized that to them it doesn't matter where you're from, even if you eat pork or even if they don't, right? So, or other things that sets us apart in general. So to me, every time I come back home, I always make it to a point that I learn a lesson. It's something that I would hope for others to learn and to really strive for. That don't come home unless you really learn something from your trip, right? Because some you just return and then bring goodies and all that, and after what, right? So I think there's differentiation on what kind of traveler you are. But as for me, I'm a solo traveler who is into learning culture, people, and just learning in life as a whole, not just spending.
That's good. So that's me. So I'm an introvert, right? So, and when I first traveled over here, I was building a business and I kept myself in the condo and then I never really left, right? And it wasn't until like a few months in, I was like, I came here to experience the culture. I got to get out. Right. And then that's when I started meeting people and talking and then getting to know people. And it's like, oh, this is like a totally different experience. And that's one thing I know from personally, it's like you can have two people take the exact same trip and have two totally different experiences, two totally different stories, right? So what kind of story do you want to have when you come back from your trip? Like you said, right? You can either have, hey, we just stayed in a hotel, we did the touristy things, we just kind of went around and it was just kind of like, it was crazy, it was packed, it was expensive, right? Or you can have, hey, I got out of the tourist area, I explored, I met the locals, the locals showed me around, which that's one thing that I want to share is if you hang out with the locals, you'll see other things that are more culturally diverse in their culture versus touristy things, which is actually more catered to the tourist and then the actual culture itself. So they may do something, you're like, oh yeah, it's part of their culture. No, they're just trying to make money, right? And so, but anyways, it's crazy. But when you actually step out of your comfort zone and learn about and hang out with other people that are from the area, your experience is just widened. It's mind blowing. And so, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, that was really what we're meant to discover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I actually know people in the US who say that they're in their 30s and they're like, I don't know what else to do with life.
Oh, really?
Like they're bored. Like I'm bored with life. Like it's almost like it's over, right? Because when like East in the US, it's like, hey, okay, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna go to college, get a good job. Once you have a good job and you get a family, have some kids, and then your life's over. Hopefully your kids have kids and then your grandkids, and that's it, right? Like no one tells you to travel because traveling is just outside. It's like a vacation, right? So you save up for maybe a week vacation somewhere. If you're lucky, you leave the country, but most people don't. Like they're just stuck in their own city and maybe travel somewhere close by, 8-hour drive, come back home, and that's it. Then they go back to work and they grind, right? And then a lot of times they're in debt from the vacation. So it's like, yeah, I took a week vacation, which I used my credit card, but now I got to take my credit card and pay that off. So another debt I got to worry about. Now I'm even more stressed, working. And it's like, wow, what do you do? Like, no, if you just took one trip outside your country, it's just, you realize there's so much more to life that we can't even understand. Like, you know, you working with the refugees, that's awesome. For me, I want to start volunteering. Like, that's something that's going to be on my horizon big time. So
yeah, it's a different experience, I think. You know, I've experienced baking with that woman who was considering me as a daughter. I help them, you know, cope up with their orders like that. But I know there's so much, like others are go to elephant sanctuary, which is amazing experience for others. Like there are several organizations that they can sign up for to volunteer, or maybe reach out to locals who are accepting, like for free stays like that. Those are different experience. So yeah, there's more of the things that I really wanted to try. I actually have a friend, I know it's not my story to tell, I'll just skip that part where it should be her story, but she cycled China, Mongolia, then the Stan countries on her own. And she's a Muslim, so that's the friend who invited me to her wedding in next year. So I was like, what? I can barely cycle this a few kilometers from my home, and then you did. Like, so my story isn't, you know, that fantastic as her, but I know hopefully sometime we can also feature her and, you know, really get to know her story. But yeah, that was really amazing. Like other people has more interesting story to tell. So that's what I really look for when I meet people like you. What's your experience? Like, what have you been like this whole time of traveling? What have you experienced so far? What are the amazing journey that you have taken? So yeah, it's amazing to have this kind of opportunity to get to know each other, even just, you know, virtual.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why we have this podcast, and to meet very interesting people like yourself and hear your story, right? So we would have never even known. And then your story inspires us. Heck, you inspired me to do other things, step out. I don't know if I'm gonna take a bus to Cambodia, but other than that, yeah, definitely.
Have I told you that I got stung by a jellyfish in Malaysia?
No.
That was one thing that I didn't tell my parents about, because maybe they wouldn't like, oh no, stop doing what you're doing. But yeah, I did, and I survived. So I was treating my life like, oh, this is an extra life. I need to be careful with this, because, you know, getting stung by a jellyfish and in a foreign country.
Yes.
And I researched that jellyfish could be really scary and life-threatening, you know, creature. So yeah, that was really amazing.
I mean, that can happen anywhere, but it's still scary, especially like you said, in another country, right?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. So you inspired me to pull out my guitar, which is sitting up here collecting dust. I think you have a few guitars behind you that keep popping up, and I'm like, yeah. So definitely, I know I need to open up more of my creative mind, and that will help. So
yeah, maybe I could give you a tip. Like, to me,
please.
I'm not like others, like can write song in 5 minutes. Whenever I think of a tune, I just write it, record it, even if it's like, you know, I just woke up or something. I just record it and write the lyrics and all that. And, you know, I have my boyfriend, he's very good at, you know, listening to the tone, to the key, and I wasn't. I was like, what key is this? Do you know? And then I will ask him, okay, and then can you make it this way? I just share my vision, because again, I'm not very expert at it. So I want to play it this way, you know, and then the drums, I will tell, oh, this is my vision and all that. Now I have a band, and then we're going to be recording some songs in the future. So just getting into the zone. Whenever I have that zone, I would write it, and then I just come back to it whenever I feel more inspired to add into it. So to me, it's taking like a month or two to finish one song. I know it's a journey to be really faster than that, but it's a way to go, right?
Yeah, and you're just starting off, so it's gonna take time. It's like a learning curve, right? So anything you do the first time, it's
what kind of genre do you have? I like what kind of song do you typically play or listen to?
Oh no, I just want to learn the notes right now. So, just A, G, all that stuff, and get the fingering right. My fingers hurt. I got big hands and it's a little guitar, and I'm like, but now like ukulele. I love the ukulele too.
I started off with that actually. Now I'm not good at it. We're mentoring kids here at church, and they were more better than me. Now, the minor is like, what is minor? I asked them, what's major of this chord? But I think it's amazing how music allows us to creatively think and show our emotions, our journey in it. Like it. If you like want to know a person, as to what kind of music they listen to, like I think that's one way to go.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that means because I'm eclectic, which means I listen to everything.
It's fine, yeah. I also do,
everything. I used to say everything but country, but now some of it's sneaking in and I'm liking it. So it's one of those things.
Well, in the Philippines, now starting September, you'll probably listen a lot more on Christmas song because we have the longest Christmas.
Yeah, I know. The bird months.
I know, right? I can't wait for you to really listen into that an ending song until early January for sure.
Exactly, which is awesome. It keeps the holiday cheer a lot longer than I'm expecting, so it'll be nice.
Exactly, yeah, definitely something to look forward to. Yeah, everyone is happy despite the different calamities that comes with the season. We're still like resilient over it.
Yep, and all the food. It's gonna be so much food.
Yep,
so I'm excited for that. All right, Ivy. Well, our time's up. Thanks for coming on the show again, everyone. Check out Ivy. We're going to put all her contact information in the description. She's doing amazing things, and we'll follow up with her later. And appreciate your time, Ivy.
Thank you so much, Corey and Jet Set Voyage. Thank you for the platform, and I can't wait to see you more on the show and seeing more stories, hearing amazing, incredible people in the digital space and the travel space.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.